Spain. It was a very big thing that I noticed. If you look into the debt to GDP ratio of Spain, exactly at 2008, there was a very small, it was in fact gradually coming down. If you look into the Spain's graph. If you look into Spain's GDP, debt to GDP ratio, I think it was coming down. There was a graph that was telling, or I think I was.
That isn't Greece.
Oh, then there was one. I think I probably looked into the graph. I think there was a no, not here. The first one. Yeah, so why was there a reduction in? Okay, so why was there a reduction in the debt to GDP ratio while in other cases that should have not happened?
It was before 2008, right?
Yeah, that's right. So before 2008, your debt to GDP ratio should have increased. That's when the bubble is at a peak. It keeps increasing and then the bubble bursts.
As a result of this, it went into a crisis and then zero.
The whole point that I'm trying to make over here is, during the bubble there will be a lot amount of debt going on. Now no one would get credit. There won't be any debt at all.
No,
That's
not the point. No, for example, if you are actually in a crisis, you will take more debt to actually come out of it. So the ratio is actually increasing. The ratio is increasing for a lot of countries, especially the countries which are in crisis. When you go bankrupt, the only thing you can do is actually take in more money, right?
And GDP is also not growing, so your denominator is also shrinking. So it's adding to the.
Okay, that could be.
Hello. We are talking of taking which cost to the right? Actually, only the interest on loans are higher. I mean, then there is a problem of repaying the loans. But when the interest is lower, and I don't know how it actually would cause a bubble burst.
No, the bubble did not burst because of interest rates. The bubble burst because there was too much money cheap credit in the market and people were not able to repay. And housing markets collapsed.
No, we are talking of interest on loans. Right?
Interest on loans.
Yeah, when the loans are actually, the interest rates on loans are higher. That is when the problem that you take more debt again to pay off interest rate, which happened in US. You are taking more debts, or maybe you are paying through your credit cards from one credit card to another, and then going on. Whereas the interest rates is low in countries like
It was not because of credit crisis.
no. Yeah, I'm just giving an example of how it happens.
Yeah, carry
in
on.
US right now, the interest rates are lower for the real estate when you take loans from US for housing loan or something like that. So when the interest rates are lower, that is when the economy is actually stable. Right? When interest rates are higher, I mean, it indicates a sign that they are trying to pull down the real estate sector. Okay, and I couldn't relate. Maybe it's my assumption. I couldn't relate how it actually can cause a bubble burst in the real estate sector.
The problem is that
No, there was a point I remember in France which says like
France?
Yeah, France. Cheap loans, something like that.
it didn't cover France. No? It didn't cover France. It didn't cover France. It didn't cover France. That you saw in, I think, Greece. The interest rate was rising. The graph. The graph.
Spain, Spain.
The graph, yeah. The graph, yeah. So the interest rate there is rising. Government bond is returned. That's all that.
I think Ireland.
This is close.
No, I do understand what I understand what you're saying. We're saying that when for a consumer, the interest rate is low, why is it a problem for him to pay back? Right? In US,
My question is, if the interest rate is low, it actually signifies that the economy is kind of stable. On housing, when the housing loan is low, interest rate is low, it actually signifies that the economy is stable. When it's high, it is when the problem like you cannot pay back the low interest rate, and that actually creates kind of a bubble, and then finally it causes a
The bubble is because of being
in US, there was a time when people, normally in US commercial banks, the way you actually rate officer is by number of loans you give. So if I give 2 loans today, I'm rated A. Another guy who's rated only 1 loan per day, rated B. Without any collateral. So in US, there was an example where this guy was there in a rich mansion. His servant had 3 loans in the bank. A servant made in US had 3 loans from 3 different banks. So the total regulatory collapse. When Bush came in 2001, there was huge deregulation in the US market. With respect to how you can give it over. So that actually caused people to have excess property, or at least the property on the paper. So when the economy got heated up and when everything collapsed, they did not even have the money to repay the loans, even though there was almost 1 or 2% interest rates. So it's not just interest rates, it's basically about how much you can pay when you take that. You don't have the power to earn money, you cannot give it over to the group. That is what happened in the US. Everything's paid off.
It's actually not a cost. There is actually not a cost.
Not deregulation in US was one of the main reasons. And also the way investment actually securitized these loans into something called collateral debt obligation for CDOs. And they sold this to insurance companies. And the insurance companies thought that economy is still good and they got huge chunk of these CDOs from investment banks. With the investment banks, it is your Goldman Sachs again. They are always very scandal on that. Insurance company, then these insurance companies like AIG, example. And when the economy went burst, these insurance companies had to pay this huge money on Goldman Sachs. And when this when US government came and pumped in $80 billion to AIG. And the point was, Goldman Sachs already, when they are making these CDOs means there are loan 1, loan 2 and loan 3. And the loans are rated by the credit rating agencies, like your S&P and Moody's. So they can be AAA loans, they can be BB minus or even the worst loans. So what they did was, they took chunk of this, made this into CDOs, and made this into CDOs and showed this to insurance companies, right? Insurance companies. And the point is, Goldman Sachs knew in already 2006 that economy is going to go down. So what they did was, the more loans were actually in this category more than this. Okay, so they are targeting more of these loans in CDOs, and they went to rating agencies and they said, please rate this loan as AAA. And rating agencies work in such a way that the better you rate the loan, the more commission you will get from banks. So it's an excess.
One more point.
That's what happened. So these loans were given to insurance companies, and when they went first, they were changed. So it's not just there's also.
Actually, the problem in US was the bubble. Bubble was because like they were subprime loan. Subprime means the people are rated according to their credit capability. So suppose I am earning good, I have a good salary, I won't be subprime. Subprime, I would be in prime. Below me, the people like vegetable vendors and all, those who have very less credibility, credit rating, they are called subprime. And the US companies started giving subprime loans that were too high, without the guarantee of them repaying back. So that was called the subprime loan. The problem was that people started defaulting, and against the mortgage of their home, they started defaulting. And once they defaulted, the banks they had a lot of property, that is their homes. That is, they had a lot of supply, but there are no one in the market to demand it. So the value of that whole loan started to decline. And suppose the value was 1,000 rupees. People, when the value started to decline, suppose the value of loan was 1,000 rupees, and when the value started to decline, it was around 900 rupees. So people who had the loan found it easier to default because they had to pay only 900 rupees. They should not pay. They were not required to pay the whole 1,000. So the value started declining, and that in turn created bubble, because in turn the bank had accumulated a lot of homes as mortgage, and the property rates were started declining because they in turn had lot of supply. So there was no demand, and that's what led them. People started defaulting a lot. That is all led into the vicious cycle.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? Arjun, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question I want to add that during the technician I was told that one of the major factors for formation of EU or Eurozone was the political reason. So the biggest political reason was that the Europe had been ruling the world for last 300 years, from 1500 onward, and after World War they had lost their position. So they wanted to, the Churchill in 1945 in his famous speech, Iron Curtain told that we wanted to make a United States of